For our first example here, I would just like to point out that you can use your notes during the test, and you do in lesson 2.1. In lesson 2.1, you've got a list at the end of your notes of everything, of all the different kind of word models that you might see. Now, you can't obviously do every kind of word model, but you definitely can use that as a guide. So if you haven't yet, go back to lesson 2.1 and those guided notes for a list of all of these kinds of words and what they could mean. So that being said, we definitely have done this problem so many times, but you just read it down. So this one is n divided by, so the fraction bar is always divide by 2. And I just realized something when I wrote it like that. The division symbol looks a lot like what I just highlighted. Maybe that's what the division symbol stands for. Maybe I'm on to something here that we never knew before, that it's a number divided by the fraction bar and a number. Maybe that's what the dots stand for. I think I just made a huge math discovery. Dun, dun, dun. All right, so anyways, let's just put this into words. All right, so the number n divided by 2, that's what it's going to look like. Now, number 2 is the opposite of that. We're going to write this in an algebraic expression instead of writing the words. So it's that one that threw a lot of you off, that less than, is going to be 20 less than, that means minus p. So just remember the key here is the word than means to switch the order of those two. For example P, they've given us some extra information here. So we've got an expression n plus p, where m equals 4 and p equals negative 4, and we want to substitute those values in here. We've got 4 plus negative 4 plus a negative 4. So everywhere I saw an M, I substituted the 4. Everywhere I see the P, I'm going to substitute in the negative 4. So let's go ahead and use our order of operations now. So I want to do everything inside those parentheses. So negative 4 plus negative 4 would create a negative 8. And now there's nothing else to do inside the parentheses, so I can ignore the parentheses. 4 plus negative 8 will leave me with a negative 4. That problem has a lot of 4s in it. All right, for number 4, we want to use a equals 6 and b equals 5. And this time my expression is a, b minus b. Don't forget, when you have two variables next to each other, that always implies multiplication. Substitute the 6 for the a, the 5 for the b, and then minus another 5 for the second b. Order of operations, we want to multiply first. That will give me 30 minus 5. And then 30 minus 5 is 25, and it's completely simplified now. This next one is just matching. We're going to use an A if we think it's associative, a C if we think it's commutative, D if you think it's distributed, I if you think it's identity, property. Once again, you can use your notes to help you identify all of these properties. So make sure you've got either a cheat sheet or a study guide or something to remind you of what all of these properties are. All right, so I've given you a sample of the 4 properties, either with multiplication or addition. Just remember it's the same rules for both. The identity property, though, I did show for both multiplication and addition there, so that, and I color-coded them, so the orange is associative, purple is commutative, distributive is in red, and identity is in green. The first one, A, we can see the distributive property at work here. So we've got 8 times 2, 8 times 11. So we would just put a D there for the distributive property. On part B, I've got this one, I can see I've got a 4, a 6, a -2, a 4, a 6, a -2. So the order hasn't changed, but the placement of the parentheses has. So that is the associative property. Next, this would be the identity property. I'm multiplying 5 times 1, and I get the identical thing back, which is the 5. So I'm going to put an I there. And the last one, I can see that the 9 and the 5 have switched places. So that's a commute, that's a move. So that's the commutative property. This problem is filling in the blank. So I would look at my example, and I want to look and see from this first step to the second step, what has changed here. So which property is being used. And hopefully you can see the only thing that's changed is right here. It was 5 plus x, and now it's x plus 5. So the numbers moved. That is the commutative property of equality. So it's the commutative property. The next one, okay, so we want to find out what's going on in this step here. Well, you have to look at the previous step and ask yourself what is different, what has changed. And the thing that's changed is I'm adding a 3 that was not in this previous step. So there was no plus 3 in the previous step. So that's the new thing. This is the addition property of equality. All right, let's read through this word problem. And I know word problems aren't a favorite of anybody's, but it really doesn't have to be that difficult. So this one is saying last week, Chelsea ran 8 miles less than her friend. Chelsea ran 25 miles. How many miles a week? So here's our key question. Did her friend run? And that's also going to give us what our variable is that we're looking for. To define our variable, let x equal the number of miles her friend ran. A lot of you are going to lose a point if you don't put that statement. Now, remember I always said focus on what the total is. Is there a total? Is there a sum? Is there some final value? And I think there is right here. Chelsea ran 25 miles. So we're going to set our equation equal to 25. And it doesn't matter which side that is on the equal. The next thing is 8 miles less than her friend. It's that dreaded less than, and maybe it will make more sense to you now. So Chelsea ran 8 miles less than her friend. Well, x is how much her friend ran minus 8. So maybe the less than part will make a little more sense for you now. We can solve this by adding 8 to both sides, and we can see that Chelsea's friend ran 33 miles. Solve the, and I already actually did that final part in the wrong space. The next problems are pretty straightforward, so I'm going to go through them fairly quickly. Always start by drawing that line down the equal sign, seeing what is keeping your variable from being by itself. We can see here it's the 24 minus 24, so we're going to add the 24, do the opposite, and we are going to get x equals, let's see, what is that, 737. You can always plug that back in. 37 minus 24 does equal 13. For question 9, just remember what we talked about, that division bar earlier. So it looks like divide. That fraction bar looks like the division. I think that's where it comes from. X divided by 18. So if we're dividing by 18, the opposite is going to be to multiply both sides by 18. We cancel out, got each side there. X is going to equal 54. Number 10 is we want to divide by -6. Divide by -6 to get that x by itself. Don't forget that that means multiply, so the opposite would be to divide. We can cancel that -6, and this is going to be a negative answer, because a positive and a negative make a negative, -13. Number 10, the trick here is even though we've got this equal sign right here, we're not going to subtract because the 28 is negative, and we always want to add the opposite. So the opposite is actually going to be to add 28 to both sides. If we don't do that correctly, what we'll end up with is -56 instead of the 28, the -28 canceling, and that would not be a good thing. So these will cancel here. 17 plus 28 would give me 45. So 45 equals x. And once again, just a reminder, that's one of those times you want to substitute it in to make sure it works. So -28 plus 45 would give me 17. All right, we're going to finish up with some two-step equations. So now we've got to take a look at our variable. So here's x. We can see x is being divided by 8 and added by or subtracted by a 6. Always deal with your addition or subtraction first. So let's add that 6 to both sides. The 6's will cancel. I'm left with 8 divided by x equals 1. I think we've seen a problem like this one before. To get rid of the 8, we're going to multiply both sides by 8, and x equals 8. Number 13 is the one where you need to be careful because the 6 is dividing into both the x and the x minus 9. There's unseen parentheses there. So we do anything inside the parentheses last. So we're going to multiply by 6 first. I forgot to put my separator line in there, so I've done it. 6 times 8 gave me the 48. And now I can remove the parentheses because there's nothing else on the outside of them. I finish this by adding that 9 to both sides and get 57 equals x. For 14, draw your line down the equal sign. We can see here's x. It's being multiplied by 8, added by 10. Move the addition or subtraction first. So that means to subtract the 10 from both sides. I will get 8x, because those 10's canceled, equals -80. Divide both sides by the 8. And you might even be able to do the division in your head. And so that's going to equal -10. All right, and number 15 here, draw your line down the equal sign, find your variable, there it is. Make a plan. It looks like we need to subtract that 10 from both sides first. They cancel. I've now got 26. Oh, and there was a typo on this one, but you know what? Fractions do happen in the real world, so that's okay. So I've got -12x. I would need to divide by that -12. And I'm going to get a fraction, and sometimes fractions happen in the real world, as we know. So I would honestly accept 26 over -12. You wouldn't have to reduce it, but if you chose to reduce it, it would be -13/6 equals x.